Hi guys, if you're new here, my name is Jenna. I film a lot of productivity, lifestyle, bullet journal videos, so if you want to hit subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. For today's video, we're going to be doing a 2020 bullet journal flip through, and I'm really excited to show you guys. If you're new to bullet journaling or you feel like your spreads have to be this amazing, perfect piece of art every single time, then just go ahead and watch this video and know that not every single spread has to be perfect. Some of my spreads are definitely far from that, but I think it's cool to look at these videos to kind of just look back on my artistic progression this year. Without further ado, let's just go ahead and get started with the bullet journal flip through. Okay, you guys will definitely see, and it will be pretty obvious, but I didn't really prioritize my bullet journal much in the beginning of the year until lockdown started and we were forced to stay at home. So you guys will see my yearly spreads that I really didn't spend too much time on. It was just my year at a glance and my resolutions. But for the most part, I didn't really have time or really make the time for my bullet journal towards the beginning of 2020. I was really busy with work and really just enjoying living in Arlington that I just didn't really make the time to put a lot into my bullet journal spreads. So I would say January, February, and March were definitely on the simpler side. You'll see a lot of spreads like this where I really just wrote out the days and the date and what I needed to do. And in terms of themes, it wasn't very cohesive. If anything, there was just a color scheme that I kept throughout the month, but for the most part, I didn't really challenge myself artistically, and you'll see even mistakes in the dates that I make, but I just didn't really care about it, honestly. I didn't really prioritize how my bullet journal looked, and it just wasn't something that was on my priority list. So yeah, we're just gonna breeze through by January, February, and March and just kind of go through everything. You'll see even my March cover spread I just completely redid because I thought it looked so bad in the beginning, and even now I don't really love it, but I just didn't really do much with my bullet journal. Everything just looks kind of sloppy in my opinion, and it's not really until we started working from home in this week that I actually started putting more time into my bullet journaling, and I was stuck at home. My mental state was not doing well whatsoever, so you can see that although it's still a little bit incohesive, I'm slowly starting to put more time into my bullet journal. I started intermittent fasting, which you can see I didn't really keep up with this spread that much, but I got new markers, and then in April you see here that I started going through and putting a lot more time and energy into my bullet journal spreads. I followed along Amanda Rach Lee's April theme, which was this lo-fi cozy theme, and I didn't really think I could make a spread like this, but it turns out this really ignited my fire into bullet journaling, and I just had so much fun. This fitness spread was so much fun. I experimented with Dutch door themes where you would cut out a page and kind of make it part of that one spread. So that was really fun. This cozy theme is just so cute where I put my to-dos and my schedules, but just everything looks a lot more cohesive and in sync with each other, which just was more pleasing for me to do and for me to look at, so I can't really complain. And then we have the May Animal Crossing floral theme that Amanda Rach Lee did. And I think this is what really solidified it for me that I loved bullet journaling, and I could really do something really fun too. So I had so much fun filling in this mood tracker. If you asked me a year ago if I could make spreads like this, I would honestly say no. So I think seeing this and being proud of what I created in this month really just ignited that fire in me to make more spreads and to do more with my bullet journal. I made my bullet journal account on Instagram, and I really started to challenge myself creatively on what I could do with this theme that Amanda Rach Lee created. So I ended up making my own brain dump spread where I just created my own border, and once I was able to do that, I definitely started thinking outside the box more and thought to myself what I could do. So I definitely put more time and effort into my bullet journal. I made this spread, which was completely my own, and I absolutely love the way that it turned out too with the circular border. But it was really in June that I started to challenge myself more and create a theme of my own. So I made this retro font that says "Feel Your Feelings" in June with neutral rainbows, kind of gives you like a 70s vibe, and definitely had a lot of trial and error because there are a lot of cases where I messed up and just had to completely start over. But I made this mood tracker where each space inside the rainbow would be according to my mood, and I just had so much fun making my own theme for the very first time from completely nothing. Put a lot of time into it, but I'm really proud of how it turned out. And it was also in June that I went to my bullet journal more as a mental outlet as well. So you'll see a lot of quote pages, especially ones like this, where I just wanted to create something to mend how I was feeling mentally. I was feeling very exhausted with what was going on in the world. And so I went to my bullet journal really to just let everything out and express myself. This is a recreation from Julianne Doodles. And I just used my bullet journal as a way to take care of myself and reflect and let out my creative self. So I had a lot of fun in June to really challenge myself and make bullet journaling completely my own. I added a couple of mid-year review spreads to kind of go through how I was doing mid-year with my resolutions and especially my weight loss journey, and just kind of writing out what worked and what didn't at this point, because I lost a good amount of weight this year. I lost around 20 pounds, so I just kind of wanted to document everything. I had so much fun making my July spread. I would say it's also one of my all-time favorites this year. This was a ice cream truck retro theme as well, and I just had so much fun with the pastel colors. I used a little bit of my watercolor pen. This was kind of my first time trying that out and making my spreads for this month. So you see a lot of the ice cream and the pastel colors and this ice cream truck. This was inspired by a different account, which I'll link below. For the most part, I just had fun with this theme and just had a very fun summery ice cream theme this month. It's really, really cute. I love how everything turned out. It's very font based, but also pastel-y and doodly themed as well. So I had a lot of fun this month. And then this is the end of my first bullet journal. I just have one last spread to write what I want to put in my next notebook. But yeah, I had so much fun filling out that first notebook, but I was really, really excited because this is my Libra Silver Gilded Edges dot grid notebook that I got way back when. I was so excited to finish that journal because I honestly was just doing everything I can to start this one. I was so excited to start a new notebook, mainly to put more of my yearly spreads in the beginning of it too for the rest of the year. So you'll see my grid spacing guide and this poem by Leslie Dwight, which I really, really liked. And I have my 2020 future log, and I left more space to add more dates, and I included a watch and listen spread where I can just document all the things that I've been reading and watching and listening to. I put my 2020 goals, and where you can see on the left side my goals, and then on the right side is what I just filled in today for an end of the year review. I have a separate spread on my Korean, which I kind of fell off with this year, but that's okay. I have a separate spread for theme ideas, and then just my overall 2020 fitness journey. And then we have August, where I really wanted to challenge myself again and make my own theme. So we have this Moroccan abstract desert theme, and a lot of this pulled inspiration from Pinterest, so I'll insert those photos too. I had a lot of fun just making this boho theme overall. It's really cool and neutral, but deserty at the same time. After August was done, I was honestly really missing doing my themes with Amanda Rach Lee because she's probably the only inspiration how I really started bullet journaling to begin with. So I went back and did her computer theme with her for the month of September, and it actually was so much easier than I expected it to. It's really just a bunch of rectangles and squares. So if you want a simpler theme to try, I would definitely suggest this one. I think that's a really cool thing about bullet journaling. It's really what you make of it. Sometimes if you want to make your own spreads and think outside the box, you can do that, but other times if you just want to recreate somebody else's themes and do that with them, then that's okay too. There's really no rules when it comes to bullet journaling, so you just kind of make it your own and do whatever you want with it, and it shouldn't be a place of stress. It's really just for you to be productive and get your creative juices out as well. But I have to say that my favorite theme of the year has to be my October spread. This is my transitional spread where I did click for October, and then this was going to be my original cover page, but I just messed up and didn't like how it looked, so I just made a whole spread out of it. And this is my October spread. It's a mixture of florals and butterflies, and I figured for my birthday month, because my birthday is October 10th, I would do my two favorite things and just put them together and make them my own. And I have to say, I'm definitely the most proud of this theme. It's just so beautiful, and with the fall colors, everything just looks very cohesive together, and it's just so beautiful. I love how this turned out. I can't get enough of it. I can look at this theme forever. Here we have my November theme, which is just an overall Archer and Olive inspired theme. One of my best friends, Bujo with Lisa on Instagram, she got me the Jewel acrylograph markers from Archer and Olive, so I just felt so inspired to use them, and I figured what's a better way to do that than to just make an entire theme inspired by Archer and Olive. So I pulled a lot of inspiration from the Archer and Olive Instagram for my designs in this theme. I just did an overall botanicals, floral, stems, plants theme, and I just love how overall this theme turned out. It's very fitting, I think, for the cooler weather, but also adds a little bit of warmth at the same time. For our last theme of 2020, we did another Amanda Rach Lee theme, but this is the one that she did in December of last year. This is the theme of Northern Lights and winter trees, and I just thought it went so perfectly. I've always wanted to do this theme, but I just really didn't think that I could. I didn't think that I was talented enough, but this just goes to show that if you can challenge yourself, sometimes you really can rise to the occasion, and I'm really proud that I was able to do this for my last theme of the year, and I'm so proud of how this looks. I just think it looks so winter, and it looks a lot harder than it was too. I just used my watercolor pen and followed her plan with me video, so I'll make sure to link that too for you guys. But I'm really proud of how this turned out, and I think that this was the perfect way to end out my bullet journaling of 2020. I did a Dutch store spread for the last 2 weeks of December to kind of just finish off the rest of the year. And then we have our Polaroids. These are the last of my yearly spreads for the year. I just included leftover Polaroids that I had kept in the back of my notebook. And then we have our 2020 year-end review, where I just kind of reflected on the year, and I wanted to write spreads for the year that I started YouTube. I wanted to write my year-end affirmations and gratitude notes, and I have an overall spread that I'm gonna blur out for my relationship with my boyfriend Thomas. We've been dating for over 6.5 years now, and that's kind of crazy. So, and then we have our last spread of moving into a new bullet journal. These are just the things that I want to make sure to add in my next notebook. There's really not much left in this book, so there's a little bit of room, but not enough to start a new year. So I'm just gonna go ahead and finish off my 2020 bullet journal with these two notebooks. Okay guys, so that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed looking through my 2020 bullet journal. I think it's really cool to see how in the beginning of the year, before we were forced to stay at home, it's definitely pretty obvious that I wasn't taking bullet journaling very seriously, but seeing to where I am now and the spreads that I can make now, I mean, if you asked me in the beginning of the year if I could make these, I would say no, but it's just cool to look back on to see how much I challenged myself this year. And so yeah, if you don't know where to start, I didn't really either, and I definitely just worked my way there, and hopefully this inspires you to start a bullet journal of your own. Guess that's it. Hope you guys had fun watching this. I'll see you guys in my next video, but until then, I miss you already.